Met him on a sunny day in late July, and everything turned upside down. I almost lost track of time as weeks went by. I couldn't get him off my mind. I told him I want that great love, like standing in the middle of a bonfire. You don't know how you got there, but you hold tight, knowing that you can't get burned. Just tell me how we lost track of everything but each other. I honestly don't know. And tell me how we messed up, drifting away from each other. Didn't wanna let you go. Cause we wanted different things, and I have to deal with it, but it's not easy. So tell me how to let go, cause you really seem to know how to carry on your own. Ever since I got a good look in his eyes, I just knew that he was special. He said he wanted to take it slow, but I couldn't help that I wanted to take it to the next level. Cause I wanted that great love, like standing in the middle of a bonfire. You don't know how you got there, but you hold tight, knowing that you can't get burned. Just tell me how we lost track of everything but each other. I honestly don't know. And tell me how we messed up, drifting away from each other. Didn't wanna let you go. Cause we wanted different things, and I have to deal with it, but it's not easy. So tell me how to let go, cause you really seem to know how to carry on. Sunny day in late July, and everything turned upside down. I almost lost track of time as weeks went by. I couldn't get him off my mind. I couldn't get him off my mind. Lost track of everything but each other. I honestly don't know. And tell me how we messed up, drifting away from each other. Didn't wanna let you go. Cause we wanted different things, and I have to deal with it, but it's not easy. So tell me how to let go, cause you really seem to know how to carry on. How to carry on. It takes so little just to make me smile, but you don't seem to be around. My body aches for someone who makes me right, but you don't seem to take the time. You're on a mission now, I know you can't get out, and our time is running out. you can't get out, but our time is running out. Ooh, bye bye love, you don't know. Bye bye love, 'cause you don't know what my dreams are like and where I wanna go with you. Bye bye love, 'cause you don't know and you don't seem to care that I could have gone with you anywhere. What my dreams are like and where I wanna go with you. Bye bye love, 'cause you don't know and you don't seem to care that I could have gone with you anywhere. Thinking of you, thinking of you.
medical. She like my baby mama, know how to take care of me. Give my baby problems, you gon' regret everything. So I let her know, gotta let her know. Came through the front door, I'll be ready for her. And if it's what you want, I'ma give it to you. Yeah, promise, I'ma give it to you.
Miss that smile, Lord knows I ain't seen that in a while, but it's your style, so something must be up keeping you down. You a queen that must be heaven sent. Pray my soul, I must repent for not telling you what I meant and how I felt. Honestly, I'm used to throwing wishes in the well. My conscience tells me that I could have helped without fail. Actions speak louder than words, and that's a lesson that I learned all by myself.
Let her know, I gotta let her know that she my white horse, she my medical. She like my baby mama, know how to take care of me. Give my baby problems, you gon' regret everything. So I let her know, gotta let her know. Came through the front door, I'll be ready for her. And if it's what you want, I'ma give it to you. Yeah, promise, I'ma give it to you.
Baby, stress is all around us, these high ceilings, and I need it, baby. Pressure and make diamonds, I won't steal it, baby. Silent, baby, hurts to see you crying, know you trying, ain't no lying, baby. When I say I need you, greedy if I have to share you. It was me that all along did you wrong, thinking that I made you beautiful and strong. This toxicity, the death of me, I fear the day you gone. The most beautiful girl I've ever known.
I'll find a way to treat you better. I swear there's no one out there like you. You teach me to be better. My talk is cheap, keep asking what I do. I'll fly you to the moon and hope I'll see you soon. I'll find a way to treat you better. No problem, I'll do whatever. Let her know, I gotta let her know that she my white horse, she my medical. She like my baby mama, know how to take care of me. Give my baby problems, you gon' regret everything. So I let her know, gotta let her know. Came through the front door, I'll be ready for her. And if it's what you want, I'ma give it to you. Yeah, promise, I'ma give it to you. La 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 la. Da 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 da. La 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 la
It takes so little just to make me smile, but you don't seem to be around. My body aches for someone who makes me right, but you don't seem to take the time. You're on a mission now, I know you can't get out, and our time is
my baby problems, you gon' regret every day. So I let him know, gotta let him know. Came through the front door, I'll be ready for. And if it's what you want, I'ma give it
Now
to
moving
you.
on to the study session. City Clerk, do we have anyone signed up to speak?
Yes, we do. We have 18 signed up to speak, and we also, for study session, received 14 email communications for tonight's item regarding the selection, display, and circulation of library books and other materials within the Huntington Beach Public Libraries, and that's been uploaded to our city's website. So I'm just going to go ahead and call all 18. How about that? We're going to try to get this moving quick. Should I do that? First 10, Jeannie Paris, Cindy Mannion, Terry Rose, Kelly Hubbard, Sue Welfringer, Mary Jo Baratish, come on down to both podiums, please, Kathy Shea, Mary Kyle, Tim Geddes, Dina Chavez. I'll call the next 8 in the next group. Go ahead.
Before you start speaking, I have to read this statement. At this time, the City Council will receive comments from members of the public on items on the study session's agenda. Individuals wishing to provide a comment on items may do so in person by filling out a request to speak form delivered to the City Clerk. All speakers are encouraged but not required to identify themselves by name. Each speaker may have up to 3 minutes unless the volume of speakers warrants reducing the time allowance. Please note that the Brown Act does not allow discussion or action on topics that are not on the agenda. Members of the public who would like to speak directly with a council member on an item not on the agenda may consider scheduling an appointment by contacting the city's council administrative assistant at area code 714-536-5553 or emailing the entire city council at city.council@servecity-hb.org. First speaker, please go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Let me make just a real quick. If you decide to go ahead and withhold your comments till 6 p.m., it's fine. Just don't come up to the podium and we'll move after.
Okay. Terry Rose, Huntington Beach resident since November 1983 and homeowner. I'm opposed to item 2023-41, which is about the library. To begin with, the 4 members of the City Council who are in favor of this item needlessly spent our city's money on a study that never needed to be conducted. The findings themselves indicate that this item should not be passed. In the last 5 years, there have only been 5 challenges. In 2023, there have not been any to date. There is no valid reason to spend money setting up a review board, making children prove they were over the age of 12, and requiring parental permission for anyone under 18 to access any materials with, quote, sexual, unquote, content. What is the fiscal impact to the citizens if this item passes? Who will monitor the ages of the children? How will someone under the 18 prove they have parental permission? And who will decide what books are allowed? Perhaps if Ms. Vandermark had some sexual education, she would not have been a teen mom. And not to mention the 21 political appointees. Would the voters of HB get to choose them, or would they just be your buddies, Mayor Strickland? For a foursome who ran on less government intervention and no changes to our city charter, you definitely haven't been true to your words, nor, in my opinion, are you working for the good of the whole. It's obvious from all of the council meetings I've attended and spoken at that you 4 certainly don't play nice in the sandbox. The fact that this item would allow the review board members to simply remove books they don't like is taking away our rights and bringing us back to history when book burnings were conducted. The fact that, quote, sexual content is not defined is also concerning to me. Who will define it? Because my definition of sexual content may be different from yours, Mayor Strickland, or yours, Mayor Pro Tem Vandermark. So can I be on the committee if it passes? Thank you.
Hi. My name is Sue Welfringer, and I'm speaking at this session mostly to applaud and thank our librarians. I just want them to know they are so loved. I want to thank them for the presentation that they've put together for you all tonight. They read and live children's literature every day, and they have a lot to learn from. So as you learn tonight, they'll show you there is not porn in the library, definitely not in the kids section. Sadly, when you say there's people now in the community that believe so, and these are people who have not been in the library. They wouldn't know how to find a library book. And yet they're really concerned because of this conversation, and I get it. So please listen close to the librarians and the presentation. I did see that they are even suggesting a parental control card, and I'm hoping that maybe that satisfies the concern for the parents who really are afraid, to have some control, that will meet that requirement for you, and then take the whole long resolution, remove that from the agenda later, is my suggestion and request. So again, I implore you to listen to the vast majority of residents who oppose this resolution. These are the residents who actually go in the library and read the books, and they're asking you to please trust our amazing librarians with everything they do. Thank you.
Tim Geddes here, Mayor Pro Tem and City Council, 40-year HB resident this month, parent, homeowner, concerned citizen, former local teacher, and civic affairs veteran. Yesterday, I sent the City Council a letter opposing item 20 on the agenda for this evening. I hope you received it, read it, and are prepared to respond to it. I stated that the proposed call for the creation of a 21-member community parent guardian review board had no organizing plan, no cost analysis on its implementation, and precious few details about how it would operate. It would simply be a creature of the council majority as long as its composition was along 4 or 3 lines. It would ignore the highly qualified library science professionals who staff and advise the city in favor of biased and untrained opinion, which only represents the clamoring of a few. Else, why has there been no mass protest of current practices in the past? I stated 3 main areas of opposition which I feel must be satisfactorily addressed before any decision to move this item forward. First, how would this review board be set up? Would council appointees be vetted and investigated for their fitness to serve? Would it take a majority vote, presumably 4-3, to approve appointments? And if so, would this not constitute a virtual veto by the council majority on the selections of the council minority members? Second, how would this review board be paid for? General fund or enlarged library budget? Who would staff this review board, and who would preside over it? There are dozens of operational details that are not addressed which materially affect its fitness to serve our community. Third, where is the conclusive evidence that such a board is needed? It is pure local government overreach, something true conservatives would have been railing against for years. Where is the accountability factor? How does this meddling move not constitute censorship? This misbegotten moral majority mistake was dealt with decades ago, and yet here we are again with this trumped-up MAGA misreckoning and insult to our reason. I will be listening to your responses to all of the concerns expressed in my objections. We deserve a full explanation of what you expect by blowing precious taxpayer resources on this ideological idiocy. What a boondoggle. Have you no shame?
Next speaker, thanks for being here.
Hello, everyone. My name is Kathy Shea. I think most of you know me. As a Republican, I am a fierce defender of the First Amendment, and I generally wholly oppose the notion of book bans, and I do so now. One thing I do really endorse, though, and I'm grateful for, is the opportunity for study sessions so that our community can learn more about why this is being tossed about, but also how we can learn why some people think that our existing processes do not work. They do. So I'm really hoping tonight that we will all try to understand and listen to each other and learn from each other. And with that spirit in mind, delay vote on item number 20 tonight until we've all had a chance to engage with each other and engage ideas and bring it back. We've had the opportunity to really learn from the study session, which is the whole point of a study session. And finally, I'd very, very much like to thank our city staff, all of them who I know have worked so very hard to put this briefing together, to come to a compromise, to educate everybody, our community and our electeds on what our processes are. So I look forward to the rest of the meeting tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, thanks for being here.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council members. My name is Mary Jo Baratich, a 40-year resident of Huntington Beach. I am opposed to both item 9, selection, display, and circulation of library books and other materials, and also the item number 20, resolution number 2023-41. The proposed resolution effectively creates a process to ban books. It calls for a 21-person community parent guardian review board meeting twice a year, with each council person appointing 3 people to review all proposed future purchases of children's books and other materials, which could mean reviewing up to 9,000 books a year, and then agree on a segregation or rejection of the books. I doubt if anyone has the time to read that many books in a year. Does the term "and other materials" mean adult books as well? DVDs, music, magazines? It also states that they may review currently books in circulation. Why are the high-qualified library professionals being ignored and replaced with this review board? That is not understandable. Also, it was brought out today in the Voice of OC that Governor Newsom recently posted a video to X, Twitter, which states, "We're living in a country right now in this banning binge, this cultural purge we're experiencing all throughout America, and now increasingly here in the state of California, where we have school districts, large and small, banning books, banning free speech, and criminalization of librarians and teachers. This banning binge has to come to an end," and this is from Governor Newsom. Does this resolution banning include numerous classics and other educational publications such as National Geographic and Smithsonian that do show paintings and statues of nude men and women in various poses? Biology books also could be banned according to the resolution guidelines. Yes, this banning of books, etc. here in Huntington Beach appears to be unnecessary. Big government overreach. Please vote no on items 9 and 20. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, thanks for being here.
Hi, my name is Cindy. I'd like to ask a question. Where's the evidence that this is a problem? Where is there one study that shows that one child suffered damage as a result of a book at the Huntington Beach Library? It doesn't exist. In 5 years, there is a review process. Only 5 people submitted requests for review. The last one was Ms. Vandermark a year ago. And if this was really an issue for her, rather than just a Republican takeover of our library, she would have made that review process request years ago. In regards to the age access, do you know that Los Angeles County Public Library, Orange County Public Library, Ventura County Public Library, all have the exact same policy of our current library? The policy does not need to be changed. So when it came to masks and it came to vaccines, you all said, those of you that felt strongly that they should not be mandated, you all said, if you want to wear a mask, that's fine. You go ahead and do what you want to do for you, and I'll do what I want to do for you, for myself. Well, the exact same thing applies to this. If you, as a parent or a guardian, do not feel that your child should have access to certain books, then just keep them away from the library or stay next to them while they're at the library. But one thing is correct. It is taxpayers that paid for these books. And as a taxpayer, I and my family should have a right and access to books and be able to decide if our family should have access to them. A few weeks ago, Ms. Vandermark presented a slideshow where she showed us all kinds of books, and she described them as pornographic. There are no pornographic books in our library. The exact same books that she presented are the exact same books that have been presented to over 500 libraries across the United States, 200 of them in public schools and 200 of them in public libraries. The number of book bans has continually risen, or the requests for book bans. In 2020, there was 156 requests. In 2022, 1,259. And in 2023, just in the first 8 months of this year, 3,923 requests for book bans. Why? because this is the way of the future. This is the way of taking away public choice. It is about choice. It is about restricting the access of others. And you do not have the responsibility or the right to make decisions for me and my family. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Next speaker, thanks for being here.
Mary Kyle, a Huntington Beach resident, 25 years. I'm here to oppose Resolution 2023-41, the book ban. And before you get your hair on fire, it is a book ban. You are restricting access to books. That's a book ban. So I have questions regarding the proposed 21-person community parent guardian review board. You're giving enormous power to this 21-person review board and allowing essentially 11 members, the board majority, to impose their own views on the entire Huntington Beach community. So I have questions about the board you want to compose. Do you have to be a parent or guardian to be on the board? What other requirements are there for committee members? Is there a certain level of education they must meet? Do they have to be literate? Will they undergo a background check? What do they turn out to be? Child abusers, wife beaters, members or supporters of white supremacy groups, tax cheats, racists, homophobes, money launderers? Are there term limits for members? Is there a stipend or a financial payment for board members? Is there an appeals process for the committee decisions? Do all board members have to actually read the books that are being banned, or can they just ban books that are listed on some other group, such as Moms for Liberty? What are community standards? How do you know the committee members represent these standards? What are the procedures for removing a committee member? Will committee members produce a report or meeting notes outlining why a particular book was banned and the criteria they used? And I will save the rest for the next session. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Next speaker, thanks for being here.
Hello, my name is Dina Chavez, and I too have a couple of questions regarding this proposed book ban committee. First, a comment. I have read through the supplemental communications received thus far, and there was a total of 40 people who supported this resolution. That is barely enough people to even staff your book ban committee, and none of them were exactly volunteering to do so. So my question would be, according to the city charter, in section 405, boards, commissions, and committees, it states the city council shall establish such boards, committees, and commissions as are deemed necessary for the orderly functioning of the city. All such boards, commissions, and committees shall report directly to the city council. Obviously, we have no reason to believe that this board is necessary, and it certainly would not be adding to the orderly function of our city. Section 307, the non-interference with administration section of our city charter says, no member of the city council shall give orders to any subordinate of the city manager, either publicly or privately. So you have an unnecessary committee that would be inherently disorderly, that reports directly to you, but you are not to give orders to subordinates of the city manager. So how does this work? Yeah. Do we have an agendized item directing the city manager to oversee the book banning? Does this council intend to vote on the findings of this committee? Is that going to be per book or for an entire slate? And what about any kind of review? Now, are we going to have, again, hours-long board meetings here or council meetings about these books that are going to be banned on an agendized item? And now, while the people of this city overwhelmingly oppose this, they will be subject to more council meetings where you debate these banned books. This is absurd. If you thought this was going to be some innovative way to avoid the appearance of you personally banning books, it's not. It's just an innovative way to make you appear less competent and unable to govern. Thank you.
Thank you for being here.
All right. It's our last group. Lindsay Click, Martha Elliott, Melanie Berglund, Jessamine Garner, Carol Canode, Irene Briggs, Wendy Rincon, B. Chanel, Chan Chandler, Kane Durham, Bethany Webb, Marissa Jackson. If you choose to make comments at 6 p.m. too, just don't come up to the podium. That's fine if you want to wait. Up to you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Martha Elliott. I'm a 30-plus year resident here in Huntington Beach. I own a home, so of course I pay taxes, and I'm also a parent and grandparent. All of the discussion about this to me is silly. There is one simple solution to the complaints you say you're receiving from parents, and that is for the parent or a designated adult to go to the library and watch over what the child is looking at, what they're participating in, what they're hearing. That's an immediate control for the parent instead of waiting for a committee to decide what you should be doing. But in my heart, I don't really think this is about books or kids or parents. I think it's about controlling people you don't like. And the second reason I think that this whole circus has taken place is that it looks good to some of the people who support you politically, and that you hope that that will further your political career. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thanks for being here. Next speaker, thanks so much for being here.
Hi, my name is Melanie, a longtime resident here. There is a current process to challenge books in the library. A council member did use that process, and it worked. The book was moved to the adult section. Why is it that the city council is pursuing to take a very simple process that's already there and make it more complicated than it needs to be? Is it costly? It sounds like it. And will it really work? Everybody else has asked all these questions, and I've yet to hear answers from the city council at all, answering any of these concerns. So, and I'd like to thank the library for all that they do. I go to the library often, and I can tell you they're A1 people. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, thanks for being here.
Hello, my name is Lindsay Click. I am an HB resident for 20 years. I am a children's librarian at a public library in Orange County for 13 years, and I'm a mother of 2 school-aged children. I'd like to point out that we already have a committee of parents to select books. It's called Parents. I think we could cut out the middleman and allow people like me who have conducted thousands of story times, answered thousands of questions and requests for help finding books from parents, selected materials and looked at how they checked out, and decided if I wanted to order more of those materials for my community because they were checking them out. If parents had issues with books, they would tell me. I think I've had 2 in 13 years that I did have one older lady that was really upset that one of the books about Elvis was denigrated Elvis. You know. But I'd like to point out that last year, there were 82,813 adult library cards, 2,434 teen cards, and almost 18,000 minor cards. Still, children's materials that were checked out were almost 460,000 materials compared to adult materials of less than 3,000. Who is checking out these materials? It's parents with their children at the library, largely. Yes, it is not required that a child have a library card to get a book from the library because their parents can get a card. They don't have to give their child a library card. So they can be their own parental committee of one, selecting the materials for them, with them at the library. My job, when I select books, is to cast a wide net that represents the entire community. A parent committee of 21 would not do that. They would select books that match their own ideological beliefs. I have my own ideological beliefs, but I see the community around me, and I get things for everyone. Thank you for listening to me today.
Thank you. Next speaker, thanks for being here.
My name is Carol Canode, and I'm a 50-year resident of Huntington Beach. And I'm going to mention that we founded the youth shelter here in Huntington Beach. The reason I mention that is because the council at that time was so supportive in the police department. And I've written something called Why. Cross the intellectual mind by banning books you define. In this world that is a mess, you add diversity as a threat. Smile politely as we speak, but you have secret votes to keep. Listen, but do not hear. Protest loud and clear. Little bits of tears as we fear the takeover of Huntington Beach with your power reach. We the people must be heard. Division not the goal, is not the goal. Diversity we uphold. Listen, what are you afraid of? Have you spent hours reading, finding answers, searching for life's meaning? I don't think so. This shameful proposal is so low, not from smart minds to grow. Books open up a world outside ourselves. Fear them not. You might say that this is not your intention. So did autocrats and dictators. They paid too many to mention. Trust our librarians, their profession. Your threats to freedom so tragic at this session. Set up a committee, what a pity, to do your will. That's the agenda bill. What brings to light culture? Why? We focus your energy. We have an enviable library. Let's create a history museum. Perhaps remembering our past will aid you too. To stop your foolishness, such as banning books. This is a city with a proud heritage. Let's honor it. Again, why? As the universe sighs, power is not meant to cower, but rather to shower. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, thanks for being here.
Hi, my name is Irene Briggs. I'm a resident of Huntington Beach, and I co-founded the youth shelter with Carol, but I won't be as articulate as she is with a poem. I spent my entire working life working with kids here in Huntington Beach and for the Orange County Department of Child Abuse. So I've spent years doing child abuse exams and questioning kids and finding out how unfortunate some things are for their lives. But one thing that I always did, I carried a bunch of books in my car because when kids needed to talk, the books brought that out. It helped them. I'd park my car and we'd sit in the car and we'd read the book and then we'd talk about what was going on with them, why I needed to take them out of their home and how hard and sad that is for them. And many times it helped kids deal with what was going on with their parents. I can always remember this one parent that had a serious problem with alcohol to the point where I had to remove the child from the home. But after I did that, she and I went to a library and we got a whole bunch of books on alcoholism. And she realized that her mom could get better if she wanted to, and that made her a happy little girl. And the mom did get better, but the child had a whole lot to do with that because she told the mom about the book she read, and the mom really didn't have an option at that point. She needed to make it happen. So books were like treatment for me with all these kids. After I'd interview them, we'd sit in my car and we'd read books. Even if I had to remove them from their home because of abuse, they were still reading books, and they remembered the books, and they would contact me and tell me they read, how many books they read that month. So I can't imagine a parent complaining about kids reading books. And if that's the case, then there's got to be a political reason for it. And I thank you for your time.
Thank you. Next speaker, thanks so much for being here.
Hi, I'm Jessamine Garner, resident of Huntington Beach, and I've already stood here to oppose this, and here I am again. And actually, hundreds of other people also stood here just a few weeks ago to oppose this exact set of policies that y'all are proposing tonight. And there were residents, librarians, educators, and parents, and we all told you the same thing. And yet here we are because you didn't listen. And so I'm gonna say it again. We trust parents in this community. Parents make wildly different decisions for their families than their peers, informed by values, experience, faith, and other factors. Parents are full-grown adults who have offspring that they have the authority to raise in a way of their choosing. These full-grown adults make decisions every day about how to raise their kids, including what kind of media they're comfortable with their kids being exposed to. It's actually super weird that you want to get in the middle of that. They are very personal decisions and very individualized. We also trust librarians who go through robust training and other regulations that they have to follow. There's already a process for deciding which books belong in the library and for what age groups. And as many people before me have already said, there's already a process for addressing any kind of grievance that folks may have. And Gracie, you know that personally from having gone through that process yourself, and it worked for you. So this process does not need to be altered or augmented. The 21-person commission that's being proposed tonight on item 20, they can't make decisions based on what this diverse community of over 200,000 people will need to make for themselves and their families. And we sure as hell don't trust the people on the council to appoint people who are going to represent this community accurately. Your constituents do not want elected officials involved in deciding which books belong in our libraries in any capacity, whether directly or indirectly. We don't want you to make decisions about what materials we and our children have access to, and we certainly don't need a commission of random people to make those decisions for us. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, thanks for being here.
Bethany Webb, longtime 40-year plus Huntington Beach resident. I want to bring up a couple things that happened last week and tie them back into today's meeting. Last week on October 12th, 2011, was Orange County's biggest mass shooting. 9 people were shot, 8 people died. The tattoo I wear on my arm is my sister Laura, who died that day, with 4 of my friends. My mother was shot and was the sole survivor. I bring this up because the #1 cause of children's death in our country is not sex. It is guns. If you want to do something to protect our children, why don't you look at violence instead of sex? The second thing I want to bring up is the attack in Israel. It is beyond belief for many of us that we have an anti-Semite bringing up the idea of book banning, and yes, not allowing books into the library is book banning. I'm wearing a button that says no Nazis. That's no Nazis, no authoritarians, no anti-Semites need to be picking up and out our books. I'm going to end up talking to Casey personally because I think you're the only one here that can save us from this. As a 40-year Huntington Beach resident, I'm talking to people. I can tell you that no item has ever brought out so many non-political people. Before 2016, I didn't really know most of my friends' political leanings. I still don't know some of them. I'm talking to my neighbors and my friends, and when I say what's going on here, it is outrageous and people are mad. If you care about this community and not dividing it anymore, this is hugely unpopular. Please pause it or stop it. Thank you.
Next speaker, thanks for being here.
Hi, I'm Kane Durham. I am interested in seeing the presentation that the staff have created. But I'm hoping that I get some questions answered in that process. Chief of those being, how are we guaranteeing that the people on this review board are educated and nonpartisan? Because the people, like so far in the last 10 months, the council majority has shown that they do not respect the majority of public comments, right? So my concern is that, especially Pat and Gracie, surround themselves with people who push the idea that queer literature is inherently pornographic. My question is, the trust has been eroded in the council so much that most people out here are assuming that any kind of review board is going to be filled with people who have that idea. Now, my thing, I grew up evangelical, right? And I went to Bible camp many, many times. I remember my senior year of high school going to church camp for the summer and being taught about Song of Solomon, right? And all of us listening to Song of Solomon, all the verses, all the teaching about it, we were all very titillated because it's a love story, right? Song of Solomon is a love story, but there's a bit of adult-themed material in it. So why is Song of Solomon not something that is viewed as pornographic by people like Joe Pettick, but something that is queer literature or even just basic sex education pornographic? Like when my pastor was reading Song of Solomon to us without our parents there, was that an adult talking to children and showing them pornography? This is the kind of nuance that I think most people here don't trust that the review board is going to have. And in that, I wanted to reference a quote from an author that I personally respect, John Green. His book, Looking for Alaska, was the most banned book in school boards in 2015. And in response to that, he said, "Text is meaningless without context. What usually happens with Looking for Alaska is that a parent chooses one page of the novel to send to an administrator, and then the book gets banned without anyone who objects to it having read more than that one particular page. So far as I can tell, the kind of narrowly prescriptive reading
10 seconds.
only happens in the offices of superintendents. If you have a worldview that can be undone with a novel, let me submit that the problem is not with the novel." Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, thanks for being here. Thank you.
Wendy Rincon, lifelong resident. I had the opportunity this past Sunday to go to the Newport Beach Film Festival and listen to Judy Blume. As a Gen Xer, I think so many of us are huge fans of her work. And she brought up a point that I wasn't aware of because it was in the 80s, so my nose was probably buried in her books, but she was one of the top banned authors. Jerry Falwell, in particular, was going after her. There's currently a documentary on Judy Blume on Prime. I recommend everyone to watch it. And there's a segment in there where it goes a little bit more into the banning. My concern is, especially let's say talk about her book, which is currently a very popular movie, Are You There, God, It's Me, Margaret. As a young girl, I read that when I was probably 10. It talks about our breasts. It talks about bras. It talks about our periods. It talks about someone being conflicted with religion. It talks about relationships with young girls. When Gracie proposes something, a phrase, may contain sexual content, would breasts and a period be sexual content? I think maybe some of the men on the council might be uncomfortable hearing about menstruation and bras and breasts. But as a young girl, I certainly wasn't. I felt seen. I felt that, hey, it's not just me feeling really weird in this changing body, so are my friends. So what you may think is sexual and what I may think is sexual, they're probably not gonna line up. Here's the thing, I trust parents. I'm a parent. My kids are raised, and they were raised at the Huntington Beach Library. I've been a library card holder since 1974. Yes, I'm old. But in no way did I ever feel sending my kids into the library like, ooh, we're going into the bad zone. Be careful, guys, there's boogeymen around the corner. Oh, don't check out that shelf. I trust the librarians who are trained professionals with degrees to do their job. You yourself, Gracie, had one problem and it was solved. So the system is not broken. You were using this opportunity as a council member to do the work of Moms of Liberty and the far-right agenda. I see it, we all see it. What's really sad is that this whole room and the extra room would be and should be filled with every resident of Huntington Beach. But unfortunately, this whole thing has been hidden has been done in the shadows. It is not out in the open. You are not shouting it from the rooftops on your pages, on the Huntington Beach page. Every seat in here should be filled. Every resident should know what is happening here. And your 21 member
10 seconds.
is baloney because you're going to have a supermajority. Do you think Kai can expect to be appointed by Gracie, Tony, Casey? I hope so. You have so much good in you.
Thank you.
And Pat, I doubt it.
Thank you. Thank you. Next speaker. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, hello. It's interesting you just said that. Spam email is what I just looked at about at 4 p.m. And I found this in spam email, and I am so unprepared, but I am so appalled by what I see at this council. You guys need to mind your own business, straight up. We need better things going on in this city besides you guys trying to control the library. This city needs help, not at the library. Yes. You're wasting your time, straight up. Yes. Now, both my parents are teachers. My dad went to be a director at the YMCA. My grandfather, he's buried at West Point. A teacher, he was a teacher. And he taught how for people to learn against people like you. He taught strategic technology. And like my dad says, success skips a generation. 20-year construction owner, 20-year homeowner, been in Huntington Beach since I was 7 years old. My first city council meeting attended because of a spam email I just came across. Now, I don't think certain sexual content should be in books, and that's why I came. But now when I hear that there's this huge, large ban, I'm like, wow, you guys are banning thousands of books? I don't know. But if it's...
Yes, there is.
Hold on. Audience, give the speaker the attention, and if you would like to speak, please fill out the form card and give it to the clerk so you can have your 3 minutes. Thank you. Please continue.
My parents told me as a child it was okay to be gay. My mom had a gay friend. They're teachers. I think that was a mistake. They messed up my mind. These books, if they're in there, I don't know what's in there, but if you guys are trying to ban those type of books, good job. The books that are showing kids gay is okay, that's not okay. We don't need to be showing kids that at early ages. It's just only going to mess up their mind. I had that issue when I was a kid wondering, maybe I'm gay. No, I'm not gay. My parents told me it's okay if you are, we still love you the same. They shouldn't have been planting that seed in me when I was 8, 9, 10 years old. It messed my head up. And I'm so against curriculum, in schools about gay, because kids need to live their life first as a child before seeing that stuff. It's straight up BS. I'm proof of it. I've been through it. I spent 12, 13, my first few girlfriends. I wasn't sure, can I perform? No, I'm not gay. It's just because of all these, what my parents told me, my sisters tell me, oh, it's okay if you're gay, just because I act maybe a little different here and there. But I know I am not gay and I never was. But when you put stuff and give it to kids at an early age.
10 seconds, sir.
It's not right. And good for you if you guys are getting that out of there. But I'm a little confused what's going on, but just thank you for this opportunity to speak.
Thank you. Thanks for being here. Thank you. Next speaker, thanks for being here.
Hi, I'm Buffy Channel, 35-year resident, homeowner, business owner. First of all, I think it's silly to have us speak before the study session. Why don't we have the study session so we can see what we're speaking about? I don't get it. This is clearly just a political stunt by Gracie. Hey, Gracie, we don't burn books in America. We don't ban books in America. We have the freedom to decide. You don't get to decide for me. You don't get to decide for my kids. Your little panel doesn't get to decide for me or my kids either. If you proceed with this crazy pants book banning, this is what you will be known for. Forever. You're the book banning lady. You're the book banning council. That will be your legacy. So you better think long and hard before this is what you decide to do, because that'll be your legacy, and we're going to remind you of it forever. The book banning council. We are not pawns in your political path to higher office. We are not going to be used by you. All kids deserve to see themselves in books. Don't use our kids for political points and to get yourself on TV.
Thank you.
That concludes public comments.
Okay. City manager, how are we doing on the time in closed session? Or are we?
My understanding was closed session's going to start around 5:30. Is that correct? Around 5:30. So,
I mean, we don't have enough time then to go through item 9, or what do you want?
Ashley, how long is the presentation? About 10 to 15.
Okay.
We could probably present.
So we'll do that.
Yeah.
Great.
Ashley Wysocki.
Thanks, Ashley.
Good afternoon, Mayor and members of the City Council. This afternoon, we will review Councilmember Item 23532, Selection, Display, and Circulation of Library Books and Other Materials within Huntington Beach Libraries. During the presentation, we will cover the following topics on the screen. As we move through the presentation, I'm happy to answer any questions you may have. On June 20, 2023, City Council directed the City Manager to work with the City Attorney to return to the City Council at a study session in September of this year with options to establish safeguards that would prevent minor access to age-inappropriate, obscene, pornographic, and/or sexually explicit materials in city libraries. On September 4, City Council redirected staff to return to City Council on October 17th with actionable policy options regarding city library materials and safeguards. Over the last 4 months, staff have invested countless hours conducting research through meetings with the California State Librarian, publisher Penguin Random House, one of the largest book publishers in the world, Brodart, an international book distributor and the library's main vendor for book purchases, and collaboration with other city managers and library systems, review of case studies, court cases, and legislation, participation in online webinars, meetings with interested members of the public, meetings with the city manager and city attorney, and council member briefings with Mayor Pro Tem and Council Member McKeon. On August 7th, our team met with Penguin Random House, the largest publishing house in the world. During this meeting, our team learned that Penguin Random House will not publish anything that will raise red flags about the Miller test. The Miller test is the primary legal test for determining whether the expression constitutes obscenity through a three-pronged test, where all three conditions must be satisfied in order for a work to be considered obscene. These conditions are whether the average person applying contemporary community standards would find the work taken as a whole appeals to prurient interest. 2, whether the work depicts or describes in a patently offensive way sexual conduct specifically defined by the applicable state law. And 3, whether the work taken as a whole lacks serious literary, artistic, political, or scientific value. We also learned books are rigidly reviewed for things such as libel, incorrect information such as confirming poisonous mushrooms are not used in a recipe, or that information is not damaging to an individual or group of people. Penguin Random House will separate themselves from authors who are perceived as doing this. There's also a robust multi-layer review process that books are required to move through. Authors are the guarantors of their work, ensuring the work is original to them and there is no infringement on an individual's right or privacy. Penguin Random House's legal team reads the entire book, ensuring the content is presented in a First Amendment protected way and has high value. Children's authors are evaluated to ensure they have expertise on the book's subject matter, and often third-party subject matter experts are consulted to ensure the information and illustrations are accurate and appropriate. The terms for age-appropriate, comprehension, and content are often misunderstood. Books are written for comprehension level, so a reader may comprehend at a higher level than what their developmental age may be appropriate for. This is where librarians are trained to ensure they recommend age-appropriate content for the reader's developmental stage based on what the parent explains is appropriate for their child to read. When librarians make suggestions for books to families, they use a process called reader's advisory. During this process, the librarian will ask a series of questions to both the parent and the child. These questions aim to narrow down the options a librarian will present to the family and includes questions about the child's age, reading level and ability, and the individual family values and considerations the parent might have as their child selects reading material. Penguin Random House has the right to postpone, reject, or decline to publish the book at any time during the process, even after the publishing is complete. It's important to note that self-published authors not represented by an agent do not have any of these safeguards. Penguin Random House typically will not publish books by an author who does not have an agent. A very small ratio of manuscripts actually make it through the full publishing process and end up on shelves for readers. This low rate of manuscript acceptance acts as a quality control. Publishers will only select the best materials for publication and perform the necessary fact-checking, verification, and legal evaluation for each title published. On August 21st, staff met with Brodart Company, a book wholesaler who has been in existence for over 100 years. They work with approximately 20,000 publishers who meet various qualifications. It's important to note that data is developed by the publisher and accompanies each book, including recommended age categories, if the book is fiction or nonfiction, and page count. Brodart has a team who reviews the provided data and reviews for accuracy. This review team is also responsible for identifying additional data points to help libraries and readers make more informed decisions. As an example, a reader may be interested in books on gardening. The book's data may drill down into the type of gardening and may key into something as narrow as the type of tomato, whether it be cherry or Roma. Brodart aims for each book to have a minimum of 10 subject headings accompany each book, aiding librarians in determining if the book meets the library collection development policy standards. While some metadata about the book is only available to librarians to help them understand what they are ordering, almost all data is publicly available for review. Brodart is also unique in that it curates lists of books that may be of interest to our community for library consideration. These curated lists are based on our circulation data at each of our branches, central library, and the various age categories and reader types. This is an image of what a librarian sees through Brodart Bibs to assist them making collection decisions. A slide at the end of this presentation includes a description of the various acronyms you see on this page. Data on this page includes industry standard terminology, whether the book is fiction or nonfiction, the recommended age and grade based on comprehension level and developmental appropriateness, a physical description of the book including page count, dimensions, and weight, who the publisher is, if the book received any awards for starred reviews, a series of subject types to help identify what the book is about, and the subject headings in blue font are linked so that the reader can discover more books on that particular topic should it be of interest to them. Readers can access similar information by visiting the library's online catalog on the library website. This infographic explains the journey of a book, from the creators to consumers, with book wholesalers and librarians in the middle connecting the two. There are 4 built-in filters along the journey of the book. The blue icons represent the publishing phase, green icons represent the book distributor phase, the purple icons represent the library phase, and finally the orange icon represents the reader, who is the most important part of the book journey. Each of the stages along this path serves as a filter. Content that is insufficient, inadequate, or inappropriate gets weeded out as the process moves along. Publishers and vendors are first and foremost businesses, and they do not want to publish materials that will compromise their business model. Checkpoints provide safeguards to avoid expensive lawsuits, which could be damaging to their reputation. However, the most important filter on this infographic is the reader, who provides feedback to publishers, editors, booksellers, distributors, and libraries through reviews and engagement on social media, in person, and circulation of these materials. The reader feedback and personal choices affects publishing and purchasing decisions at all levels. The Huntington Beach Public Library has been serving our Huntington Beach and surrounding community since 1909. There are currently 103,223 library card holders in our community, and in fiscal year 22-23, they checked out 781,409 materials, with the children's materials being the most popular items checked out. As you can see on this slide, the library has an extensive collection and on average procures approximately 20,000 materials annually.
Of these 20,000 materials, nearly half of the titles are for children's and young adults. Since the physical collections of books is limited by the available space on library shelves, the librarians regularly weed books off of the shelves. On average, 10,000 items per year are weeded due to normal wear and tear, damage, replacement by an updated edition, low circulation, outdated information, or due to new research being published on the topic. Over the last 5 years, the library has received 5 formal book challenges through the materials reconsideration process, and this process will be discussed in a future slide. Minor cards require the legal parent or guardian to sign up their child 17 and under for the library card. These cards allow the card holder to access any book in the library, and they may have no more than 35 books checked out at any given time. The chart here highlights that those with minor cards use them to primarily check out children's print materials. The low valleys circled in blue are during storytime breaks during the holidays and just before school gets out, while staff are preparing for summer reading program. The highest point in January is due to storytime returning after the holiday break. There is a direct correlation between storytime attendance and materials checkouts. There are very few teen and adult print items checked out using minor cards, which are shown with the purple and teal lines near the bottom of the chart. Typically, parents use their children's card to check out an adult or teen item at the same time in lieu of using 2 separate cards to check out the books. This next table illustrates how teen cards are used. Teen cards are available for 13 to 17-year-olds and do not require a parent to sign them up due to the fact that parents often do not accompany them to the library at this age. The card does limit the teen to check out 5 or fewer print materials in the library. Teen cards tend to have a greater variety of collection areas used, and many teens will check out adult fiction items that are part of their school curriculum, like Of Mice and Men, 1984, and many other classics. They also use the adult nonfiction section for research projects like history books for Model UN, while still checking out books from the children's and teens collections. The data on this table shows teens do primarily check out materials from the children's and teen print collection. The policies listed on this slide directly relate to the councilmember item brought forward in June 2023. The Computer Lab Use Agreement and the Internet Safety Child Information Protection Act, referred to as CIPA, do not require any updates at this time. The Computer Lab Agreement is agreed to by anyone using public computers via a pop-up at login. Users of PCs in the adult section must be 18 years or older, as verified by library card information, and agree to obey copyright laws, network security standards, and malicious or unlawful activity. Use of library computers can be revoked based on inappropriate conduct. CIPA is a U.S. federal law that requires public libraries and schools receiving federal funding for internet services to implement measures to limit the access of minors to adult content. These measures include filtering technology set up through our Information Services Department on wireless and computer access in the children's area of the library. These filters are designed to block categories such as adults, dating, gambling, nudity, swimsuits and intimate apparel, and weapons. Wi-Fi and computer access in the adult area is unfiltered except for connections that are considered threats to network safety. As a reminder, the internet is open and not curated. Anyone can add content to the internet that is not fact-checked and/or may be unlawful.
So Ashley, so the color-coded in red would be new policies, correct?
The color-coded in red are existing policies that are recommending or that are suggested updates.
Got it. So existing, and we're going to update them.
Correct. There are options to update those. So at the beginning of 2023, staff began reviewing and updating the collection development policy. On March 23rd, 2023, a request for legal services was submitted to the City Attorney's Office for review of the updated collection development policy. This policy guides librarians on how to develop the library's collection. The updated policy gives more guidance to librarians and transparency to the public. It includes specific criteria that librarians use to select materials, including reviews, relevance to the collection, patron requests, and bestseller lists. It also includes criteria for weeding materials that are no longer useful. The materials reconsideration process is a component of the collection development policy. Through this process, anyone with a Huntington Beach Library card may fill out a form and provide their feedback on a book they have read in entirety and their recommendations. A librarian will review the book, often reviewing accompanying journal reviews for the book, providing feedback to the library manager, who then provides the determination to the individual. At times, this may result in the book being moved from one collection or to another. The book may also be removed based on the weeding criteria for a variety of reasons. For example, the information contained has been disproven or is outdated. In addition to this process would include the library card holder could appeal the librarian's determination up to the Community and Library Services Commission for the final decision. During a briefing with Mayor Pro Tem and Councilmember McKeon, a request was made to form a community committee to monitor library collections. Staff have continued to explore this concept and have sought out resources to provide a blueprint or model for a committee of this type. Due to this new concept, staff would require more time to develop the process and operational standards for a group of this type.
So Ashley, just to reiterate, these are all updated policies born from the initial H item that was brought forward earlier this year.
So, yes, so these are options to be considered for updates to the existing policies.
These aren't existing, these are updates that are being proposed from Mayor Pro Tem's H item that was brought forward earlier this year.
Correct.
Thank you.
And Ashley, do you know when the last time was that any of our library policies were updated?
We're currently working on updating many of them. So that process started last year in 2022.
Okay, thank you.
That's what I was going to ask. Thank you.
You're welcome. Currently, the minor card, teen card, and adult cards are available for the community. At the request of the council member item to provide additional safeguards, there is an opportunity to implement the parental control card. This card would require parent or legal guardian permission for a child 17 or younger to sign up for this card. Cardholders of this type would only be able to check out children's library printed materials. The image on the screen is from the self-checkout machine. If there are items in the collection that cannot be checked out, this alert will pop up, directing the patron to take the item listed to the front desk for further assistance. The opportunity to sign up for this card would be marketed to all existing cardholders. Existing minor cards will not be automatically transferred to the parental control card, and parents would need to make that decision for their child. Annually, an email will be sent out to cardholders reminding them of the various card types. The rules of conduct policy updates include clarification of the process for suspension of privileges and the appeals process, and additional behaviors that are not allowed. This policy will be reviewed every 2 years. Currently, minors 10 and younger are required to be accompanied by a responsible adult 18 and over. There is an opportunity to update this policy to require all minors 12 and younger be accompanied by a responsible adult. This change supports direct parent and caregiver involvement in the choices children are making while at the library. Listed on this slide is information that will be included in the brochure handed out to all new library card holders. These brochures will also be available at the Children's Reference Desk, and also included is information explaining anyone can make book purchasing recommendations, which are reviewed to ensure they meet collection development standards. Resources have been developed to help parents be more informed. These include items such as grade level books listed and guidance for online resources to assist with book content. Library staff will also be sure to inquire about any topics family would like to avoid when finding new books. In conclusion, there is an opportunity for policy updates and enhanced resources for parents and caregivers to be more informed about how to effectively use the library and understand book content. If there is a continued desire for a community committee to review the library collection, additional staff time would be needed to understand how to effectively operate and appropriately resource this committee. Thanks for allowing us the opportunity to provide more information on this council member item, and thank you to the library team for their time and investment to further researching this topic. I'd be happy to answer any additional questions you have at this time.
So I have
I think, city manager, where are we at on time?
Absent questions from the council to staff, I know the city attorney has a closed session item. So,
Are we able to postpone that item? I just know that the staff has done so much work. It's unfortunate if we don't get to continue.
Understood. This particular item is time sensitive, and the outside attorney is here.
Is it possible to continue right now, and then maybe at 6 how long will it take, do you think?
So I anticipate needing only about 20 minutes in closed session. So we can continue now, and we can just start later.
Oh.
But the attorney's here for about a 20-minute discussion with counsel.
We knew that coming in. That's why I was asking before we presented how long the presentation would take. Because let's continue and let's go.
No, that's not what I meant. I meant to continue here and then to move back to closed session.
All right. I mean, I'm just letting you know, Councilwoman, that then we're talking about probably 7 minutes of questions. So I would say that it would probably be better to go finish the item in closed session, come back here, and start discussion. But
So
if that's what you want to do, we can do it right now.
Can I just clarify something? So what I understand is the closed session item will take 20 minutes, but will the other lawyers or attorneys be here for longer? Can they be? Or
No, they're presently here.
I understand.
They're expecting to present at about 5:30. So it really, the whole thing, I think, should only take about 20 minutes. So it's up to the mayor.
That's why I was apprehensive of moving forward on this, because now we have momentum on this, and we knew we had to go in a private session. So
we should have moved the whole thing till later then, and
we
never had it.
I guess the question is, are we going to be able to continue this conversation on the study
Yeah.
session after we come back?
Let's do that.
But we have a 6 o'clock start time for the council meeting. I know.
So
can do that?
what I propose, I don't know, I'm going to ask the city attorney if we could do this. We go in study session, closed session. We come back, we do the prayer, the pledge, and then we go to questions regarding this, and then we'll go to the agenda and speakers for tonight.
So any number of things is possible. You can wrap this up now and go into closed session, and we just start the 6 o'clock later by a number of minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Or we can go in and get that addressed and then come out and finish with the questions by council. Either way.
Yeah, that's what I prefer. Let's go to closed session, and then we do prayer pledge, and then we'll go to questions regarding this before we go to public comments for tonight. So with that, let's do that.